Are these Digimon digital monsters? And are they the champions? We're going to find out. Hey friends, it's Just the Gems. I'm Brandon, and thanks to Bandai Namco, I got a behind closed doors peek at Digimon Story Time Stranger. Now, I wasn't a monster collecting kid. I missed that entirely. But I did love anime, so you better believe I was front and center on Saturday mornings to watch Digimon. And as I've grown older, I appreciate that Digimon has grown with me to a great extent. While certain other series have dug their heels in with their demographic, Digimon has wisely, I think, expanded their net to bring in a wider array of people. And Digimon Story Time Stranger seems like an excellent example of that philosophy. I had a couple of hours with the game, so let me tell you about my experiences and why I think this will be worth your time when it launches on October 2nd. Time. I see what I did. Our demo was divided up into two parts. The first felt like the introduction, where my character, you can choose male or female. I went with boy because his scarf is way bigger than hers. I love a big old scarf. Anyway, my dude works for a secret organization that hunts down urban legends called Adamas. And my mission right now is to find the source of some weird anomalies. So I run through the city until I find myself smack in the middle of a huge protest. This is where things really started to get interesting, which is good because this is like 2 minutes into the game. So it starts off well. But anyway, everyone is protesting in front of this giant wall called the Wall of Hope. I have to push my way past the crowd in a really cool over-the-shoulder sequence to get close enough to get inside. And here's where we get introduced to the combat. Combat is turn-based, but you can get the jump on enemies on the field by having a Digimon jump out and attack as you approach. After that, you move to battle mode where your team will be face-to-face with the enemies. Digimon uses an elemental weakness system like in other games, but there's an additional layer of complexity here. The attributes that a Digimon can have are vaccine, virus, and data, and they go in a triangle in that order. Vaccine beats virus, virus beats data, data beats vaccine. But beyond that, there are also elemental attributes that each Digimon has, which changes the calculation of how strong or weak their attacks will be against an enemy. It can feel a little complicated in explanation, but in practice, it's pretty straightforward. The game will straight up show you how much more or less effective an attack will be, so you don't have to try and do the math in your head, unless you want to. If you like math, go for it. But to quote the venerable Jimmy Buffett, math sucks. RIP to a legend. Anyway, the tutorial introduces topics one at a time in easily digestible chunks, so by the time I was through the first main area, I felt like I had a pretty good grasp on the system, which is good because I didn't want anything to hold me back from advancing the story. It might seem weird if you're not a Digimon Story series player to think about the story being such a vital part of what is, at its most basic level, a monster collecting game, but this is a story that takes things seriously. Not to say it's some grim, dark cringe fest or anything like that, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There are stakes and mystery, and it just feels like a grown-up kind of story. Which goes back to what I was saying at the beginning. I just really appreciate how this series has been willing to age along with its fans. Anyway, we get through the wall only to find a completely destroyed Tokyo. How and why all this happened, we're not sure yet. Along the way, I meet a girl who seems to know who I am, even though my character has no recollection of having met her. It just occurred to me, maybe she's the time stranger? Or maybe I am. I don't know. Somebody is definitely a time stranger. I'm gonna figure it out and get back to you. But yeah, we move along, we fight in battles, we get separated from our friend, and we meet a Digimon who can fly us across a big gap. Well, sort of.
We're going to make an emergency landing! Right there!
There's so much charm in these scenes at times, and then just like that, it can swing around and become serious, and I love how flexible the game is with that. Like, truly, the commitment to storytelling is shining through in what I saw. Seriously, there's a scene where I'm talking to what looks like a mini T-Rex in a shell, and that character is speaking with, pathos. It shouldn't work, but it does. It also helps having English voice acting. Man, am I glad they did that this time. It makes a world of difference in helping the story hit harder. You know me, I'll always advocate for a full localization, and getting the voices in English makes this a huge upgrade over what it would have been otherwise. Some big stuff happens, which I won't get into, and then it's time for the second portion of the demo. This next session is a little ways ahead, and it takes place in the digital world. I really like the feel of this place, very tropical and chill. I'm assuming there will be a variety of biomes in the digital world ultimately, so this is just a tiny slice, but I got a much better sense of the combat here since I was working with a full team. While in battle, you can easily swap Digimon in and out as needed, which is important when you end up facing enemies with different attributes and elements than your current team is strong against. Again, this is where that quick and easy reference comes in handy. I can tell at a glance if a particular Digimon is going to be a benefit or a burden in a particular battle, and if it's the latter, I can move them out quickly and easily. Aside from the moves your Digimon can pull off, you'll also occasionally get access to cross arts, in which your character pulls a few Digimon into their gun and blasts the enemies with a super powerful attack. It made me feel very cool, and there's a shortage of things in this life that do that, so I appreciate it. The battles overall just feel very snappy and responsive, just pure optimized turn-based combat. You can even speed them up if you want, which makes things even snappier. The Digital World segment ends with a battle against Sharkmon, but I had to spend a bit more time just running around the world and taking in the sights. If one of your Digimon on the field is big enough and accommodating, you can even ride them around, which is very nice. The aesthetic appeal here is incredibly high, and even though I was hyped by the trailers, I'm even more excited now. There's a lot of games coming out this fall, and a lot of JRPGs in particular, so I understand it's going to be a hard decision for a lot of people to pick which games to play, either first or at all. But I can say for sure that this demo definitely puts Digimon Story Time Stranger on my list of must-play this year. So, what do you think? Will you be getting this one close to launch? Let me know down in the comments. If you like what I do around this channel, would you consider liking and subscribing? It really helps a lot. Oh, and check out my podcast, of course, the JRPG Pursuit. We do new episodes about JRPGs every single week. Links in the description. Anyway, with all that, until next time, bye.